What is up, everybody? This is your man Dre Mag. Sorry for the delay. But we about to go ahead and kick this live stream off proper type. You know what I mean? We're actually gonna talk about Zachary Levi. Zachary Levi came out and actually talked about on his live stream about some of the rumors about Shazam being recast and not being brought back, and how he talked to James Gunn. So we're gonna talk about all of that in this particular video. So make sure you get ready, because there's a ton of information that he says in the video that we're going to react to. This is just a reaction video talking about Zachary Levi's Shazam. But the real question is, are you ready? All right, let's go ahead and get to this here. Give me just a second, because I am trying to kind of get everything kind of wrapped up here. Matter of fact, there we go. Let me just move this down here. Okay. Give me just a second here, getting some final things done, and then I'm going to actually go to Twitter, where I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna go to Twitter, and we're going to talk about this, because again, there's been a lot going on in DC, and again, this is the most I've ever covered any DC material. And the reason why I'm covering this DC material, I mean, because they're giving us a lot of material, but it kind of gives us a kind of a, I want to say, kind of a generalization of what we can look forward to as far as the communication with James Gunn and with the cast and crew. So let me see, is this, oh, wrong one, sorry. Hmm. Give me just a second, getting the let me get the overlay in here for just a second. Let me get rid of this. Anyway, I want to see us all. If you're in the building, make sure that you don't forget to comment on the video. Don't forget to comment on the video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this. Make sure that we're interactive. Let me know who's all in the building so I can shout you out. And again, I'm not going to keep you long. Just wanted to make sure I got the overlay in. So the overlay is in. So let me get to Twitter real quick. And I retweeted this on Twitter. And it was, like I said, it was, oh God, I don't want to do that. Let me go home real quick. I want to go to my stuff. What did I retweet? Where my face at? All right, there we go. So, and shout out to the people who's been following me on Twitter too, man. Shout out to my new Twitter followers too. Again, I mean, I got a Twitter a long time ago, long time ago, and never really used Twitter like that. It's been a minute, so shout out to everybody that now, since I'm kind of tweeting again. You know what I'm saying? That who's following me on Twitter. So shout out to you. Shout out to people who's following me on Instagram. Who's following me on YouTube, man. Shout out to my Facebook followers. So I appreciate y'all. But let me get to this. Let me get to this video real quick. Because it's a lot of information to unpack here. So let me share my screen real quick, because like I said, I wanted to get this started here. So let me share my screen. All right, and this is coming from Soups over Matt Ramos, the real Soups over on Twitter, but the real Soups is on YouTube. He's a YouTuber, but he addresses the rumors surrounding surrounding DC in his future. And this is from Zachary Levi's Instagram. So let's see what he talks about here. Let's kind of go into it and see what he says. See, I want to go back because it's something that, because I guess he's answering questions from his Instagram. Again, this is just a reaction, but I want to go back to the beginning of this. For one, these actors are passionate. A lot of these actors, I'm going to say 100% of them, but a lot of these actors are very passionate about the projects that they put up, and especially someone like Zachary Levi, who remember, he was in the first Thor movie, or it was in the first two Thor movies. But Zachary Levi was in Marvel, part of the Warriors 3, and then he got the role to play Shazam. And comic book characters are really big for actors now, because a lot of the fandom, this comic book fandom is very big, and merch, but it also affects the children, the children that watch these movies, and they start to get a connection to their hero, and these guys become no longer the actor, to them in certain ways, to become the character in these children's eyes. So a lot of these guys take this personally, but he also says something that's unique when you're talking about making sure the character that he brought what he could to the character, and if it goes, to somebody else, that's okay. So let's listen to this one more time. Matter of fact, I can still hear it. Let's hear this again. See, and this is what I like. He's realistic. He said, I believe we made a good movie. I believe this is something that they're going to put passion behind it. The first Shazam movie was surprisingly good. And I like, when I was growing up, I remember watching on HBO and Cinemax Big. And I remember when they were advertising this movie on Shazam, they were comparing it to Big. And in the movie Big, Tom Hanks is an adult to everybody, but he's a little kid. I believe he made a wish to become an adult, but he's still a kid. And that's what Shazam is. Billy Batson is a kid who got the powers of Shazam. So when he says Shazam, he becomes Shazam. Or if you are a comic book reader, he's Captain Marvel in DC. So, you know, um, so when I watched the movie and it was surprisingly good and had some really good heart in this movie, I'm a kid. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm a kid who grew up in the system, who's been to different homes and stuff like that. I'm not afraid to say that. And when I'm watching this and I'm watching the character, I kind of get a lot of understanding of the character because I can relate. But it wasn't too silly where the real meat of it couldn't be, felt. The heart of it couldn't be felt. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie. Looking forward to Shazam 2. Went to go see Black Adam. But really enjoyed Shazam. So I can't wait for Shazam 2 to kind of see what they build upon what they did. And I believe Zachary Levi, this is a passion project for him. You know what I mean? And in the world of acting, man, you don't know if you're gonna get another role like this. And these actors know that. So they put all their heart and soul, into these projects. So let's go ahead and continue what he's saying. So, he's saying, hey, look, these roles don't last forever. I am an actor, I'm playing a character. And you never know in the future if they're going to recast or whatever, but enjoy the ride with me. And that's the kind of thing that I like to hear when it comes to these actors and they're playing these comic book counterparts because they know that the character is bigger than the actual actor is bigger than me. They're trying to build this particular universe who's made it popular. Marvel has made this popular, as far as this world building and all these particular characters coming together or whatever. And DC has not been, financially successful on all fronts. So they're trying to build this universe and he's like, hey, just come with me on the journey to this universe. And I respect that. He knows it's not forever. He knows a lot of things is not forever, but the time that you got, spend it with me, enjoy it with me. You know what I mean? And I can respect that because he's willing to say if somebody else gets it, cool. Just enjoy the time that you have with me. You know what I'm saying? And then follow my journey to something else. So man, big props to Zachary Levi, man. I love to hear that type of talk, from an actor playing these comic book heroes or villains. So see, and again, I can respect them because this Fire James and I talked about this on yesterday's video where I was talking about MT and his call it recast T'Challa and the Snyder the Snyder fans cults. You know what I mean? Because the two don't equate. You have a set of people who are mad that a whole franchise is rebooting. You know what I mean? And again, as I explained before, and Zach is going to get into, if the movies were good and financially feasible, then maybe, just maybe, that universe under that direction could have lasted, but it didn't. Then that's something that you got to get over. A lot of the movies wasn't good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to tell you that. A lot of it was trash. And it mind boggles me that you want to hold on to I mean, it's a vocal minority. It's not everybody, but like I said before, you got these people, hashtagging fire James Gunn, and that's trending and all this stuff. It's just stupid. Let's keep it a buck. It's really silly. You know what I mean? That these people are so mad at a company who wants to make money, rebooting everything so they can make better content to make more money. That's what it's all about. It's at the far baseline of it is business. And business has to change. Things have to get better. You know what I mean? And that's what he wants to do. He wants to make it better. So why not make it better? And if he's not on board or he's not a part of that, that's okay. I just want to make it better. So let's keep going. And and again, this is why I like James Gunn, because I believe, and I don't know this for a fact, so this is just my opinion on this. I believe he reached out to everyone in DC that was, that had a movie coming out, or who was a major character, and let them know what was up. I personally don't believe in the way that Zach is saying, and now he's a talented actor and he could be giving us all the banana in the tailpipe, but I don't believe that. Just the way he's expressing this, I believe James went to everyone, had a conversation and said, "This is what it is. This is what I want to do." Now, because we're in a and this is what I want DC fans to understand, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a Marvel fan. I'm a Marvel guy, and the DC, the material of DC that I have is, Batman. And I'm not saying that I go and get Batman comics every week. You know what I mean? I mean, I did for a period of time, especially during the Batman Who Laughs series. Again, Three Jokers, and certain other comics, but I'm not gonna sit up here and like I got 1,000 Batman comic books, because I don't. I'd be lying. Same thing with Superman. I have the Death and Return of Superman, and I got the series that's leading up to that, and the series leading up to Doomsday. That's about it. When it comes to Marvel, I'm a little bit more versed, but what I do know, to make a long story short, is there is an Elseworld. There's multiple. I'm played Injustice and Justice 2 millions of times. Done beat up my boy CJ Matthews and a lot of other my St. Louis homies. And y'all know, if y'all ever watch this, y'all can come get that work. You know what I mean? But they have multiple Earth 2, Earth 3, Earth 89, and all of this stuff. So there's a mass multiverse. So even if he's not the new Shazam coming through, if they do Crisis on Infinite Earths, kind of like what Marvel did with Endgame, which they technically did Crisis on Infinite Earths, on the CW, you know what I mean? But dude, Crisis needs to be a movie. It needs to be something that sets up that, so you can have a crisis event, so you can have multiple Supermans. So people who want to see a black Superman can see a black Superman if they want to, because that's Earth 2 Val-Zod. Or if they want to see what a recast of Shazam is going to look like, which I don't believe he's going to be recast because of what he says. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. You have that. You have that opportunity in James and Peter to be able to build that world to lead up to that. So when a reboot happens, or if they do it on Flashpoint, whatever happens, this is a new start for them. So you got to give them a chance. DC fans, again, y'all got to give Peter and James a chance. And with all the crap that that you're mad about, and all this crying and whining on that front, on a reboot, man, just give them a chance, man. Let's continue let's keep going. I want to hear more that Zach has to say. Oh, and for real, I'm a big Zachary Levi fan, man. I believe he's an awesome Shazam, for one, but he just genuinely sounds like a really good dude. So let's keep going. And he literally is explaining the conversations that James Gunn has had with him and other actors and lets you know what's cracking at this moment right now. You know what I mean? And again, you know, I put my words where my dollar is. I'm going to go see Shazam too. Most definitely, probably on open day. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to support the movie because I'm going to support Zachary Levi. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to support because I'm a big fan of his take on Shazam. So yes, I'm gonna go in and watch the movie. I'm going to support it. You know what I'm saying? And what he's saying is I encourage all of you guys to just chill out for just a second. Let this thing marinate. See what happens. Man, you can't eat them. You just can't eat the meat raw. You gotta let it marinate and then put it on the grill. Right now, y'all just trying to eat the meat raw and not giving it time to, you know what I'm saying, to cook. You gotta let these guys cook. And he was like, man, I know I wanted to work with the actors too. Probably mainly Henry Cavill. Because remember what I said a couple videos ago about Henry Cavill. One thing about Henry Cavill, he was getting bad advice because he believed he was a bigger star than what he was. So he was getting bad intel. And him skipping out, I'm gonna tell you, I believe this is was bad for him. Him skipping out on the post credit scene or post credit scene of Shazam really hurt his brain, especially with Warner Brothers heads at that time, because they probably felt, man, this dude is think he's bigger than what we trying to create here, and he's not. You know what I mean? And now the proof is in the pudding, or these things wouldn't have happened. You know, he's probably looking forward to working with Gal Gadot. You know, Ezra Miller before he went crazy. You know what I mean? Jason Momoa. You know, this dude. Just think about this. Shazam was very successful, and wasn't no other Justice League characters in it, and the Rotten Tomato score was better for this movie than any of the DC movies that came out prior to that. So he has proven he can make a successful franchise. I mean, he could be an actor in a successful movie. You know what I mean? A successful franchise was like green. That's why they greenlit Shazam 2. He's proof of that. The ones who can't cut it, Ben Affleck. I mean, not saying Ben Affleck because I love Ben Affleck's version of his Batman is that Frank Miller Batman, and I like that interpretation because he's the grizzly old. I don't really give a f no more. You know what I'm saying, Batman, but it's time for that to move on, especially all the things he went through. You know what I'm saying? As far as being Batman, and maybe he wants to go behind the camera again and be a director. He's a very great director. You know what I mean? So you know, there's ways for all of this to work. There's ways for all of this stuff to go ahead. I know they canceled the Batman Beyond feature film. But just be patient is what he's saying. Let him finish. Let me let him finish. Okay. All right. So that is Zachary Levi. And let me go back to what he was saying in that last part. because that last part was very, very informative. Of, for one, chill out. Number two, trust these guys. He's worked with them. He's talked to James. The proof is in the pudding. When he said it, a niche project like Guardians of the Galaxy and made it successful, I said that in one of my videos. I said, what makes James Gunn so unique and I have a good feeling about him is because he took the Guardians of the Galaxy, was really like C-list characters, made them A-list. Nobody was talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy. Nobody was going out and buying comic books I mean, and Rocket Raccoon was the only dude from the Guardians team that was like in a video game. You know what I mean? Which was Marvel versus Capcom 3. You know what I'm saying? And he had a like Australian accent. You know what I mean? So it's not like these characters were just well known to everybody need to get on board. Oh man, you see what they doing? You see what they doing? No, they wasn't well known like that. You know what I mean? And these particular characters, you know, he brought them to life. He made something good. He made something amazing. And we have to trust him that he's going to continue to do amazing things. You know what I mean? He's penning a new Superman project. So of course he's going to do some things, man. This is going to be awesome. We have to just trust the process. And that's it. And all these people that's freaking out, you know, especially on the DC side, man. And I believe, you know, on the DC side, y'all freaking out so much. It's because all y'all want is y'all characters. Y'all want really decent characters, and I can understand. You guys seen the Snyder cut, and you seen the potential of what that universe is going could be, and you heard about, you know, the Justice League 3 script or whatever, you know, the storyboard that they was making with Zack Snyder and Jim Lee. And just recently it was told that James Gunn reached out to Jim Lee about trying to mirror the DC universe and the comics. Matter of fact, let me see if I could get to that. That because I retweeted that, and I know my guy SS Diet. He replied to this. Yeah, let me get this on screen too, and then after this, I'm gonna let's wrap this stream up because I didn't want to be on here. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I don't want to be on here forever. I'm kind of tired, and I want everybody to. I got an announcement after this, but anyway, so this is James Gunn, and this is from Screen Rant. So it says James Gunn revealed he is in communication with DC Comics head Jim Lee. If you don't have this is Jim Lee artwork. Jim Lee is one of the greatest artists of all time. Jim Lee is dope. One reason why I like comics so much, and Alex Ross, you know what I'm saying, is another one. It's the artwork. Todd McFarlane. And the list goes on and on and on and on. But one of my favorite covers is the X-Men. What was that? With the reboot of it was just called X-Men. I think that was what 1991. I think it's one of the highest selling comic of all time. I think it was X-Men #1 in the 1990s. And that cover is what they use, or the character art is what they use for X-Men animated series. It is so dope. Jim Lee is freaking amazing. And now he's the head of DC Comics. So they said he's reached out to him, promising synergy between the DCU and DC Comics. And there's something else that you know that James Gunn said, is that he wants his universe to look like Justice League Unlimited. And if you know anything about Justice League Unlimited, the cartoon, that mug is dope. I'm telling you, DC does make dope content, man. Especially on the animation side, man. Batman animated series, Batman Beyond, Batman and Robin, Justice League Unlimited. You know what I'm saying? I believe was it Superman? That had that, then it became Justice League. and Justice League Unlimited. I'm not 100% for sure, but yeah, you know what I mean. It's so, man, it's so dope. You know what I mean. So yeah, I do believe that he could be able to create a universe, man, where, let's be real, that has been lacking a lot and hasn't brought its full potential. You know what I mean? Let's just keep it real. It's not its full potential. But I want to read that. This is from Screen Rant. So let me read this, and then I'm going to let you guys go. So James Gunn will build a better communication with DC by providing synergy between the DCU and the DC comic universe. James Gunn, alongside Peter Safran, is set to be the co-head of DC in the future. His control spans DC television, film, and animation, but doesn't extend to publishing, specifically the comic book division. DC Comics has been continuously producing content since 1937. It has never been truly connected to its film adaptations. While films like The Dark Knight have been largely successful, DC has kept the two mediums separate. As co-head of production, James Gunn promises to change that with the help of Jim Lee, the publisher of DC Comics. Gunn has also been working to eliminate DC's ongoing PR management problem by taking to social media to communicate with fans to answer any questions they might have. In reply to a fan on Mastodon, Gunn explained that he plans to work with the publishing side to ensure better communication between division. This is what he said from Ed Dorkland. Hey, James Gunn, I'm excited to see the plans that you and Peter have come up with for the DC going forward. I know this isn't your power, but I hope that we'll see a better coordination with DC Publishing to have series of reprints featuring characters that DC Studios will bring to the public. Dorkland, I am working on that with my friend Jim Lee. So he just told you, I'm working on this. Don't worry about it. We're going to have something cracking. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be dope. So, and the cool thing about that, honestly, let's keep it real, is that the DC universe has so much. And I was talking to my man here. Hopefully he'll get he will, we're gonna hook up and get on the show here. My man SSJK.18, and he tweeted me, man. It was like, man, I just hope it's that we can have a strong connection. Or no, what was the tweet? I think it was a retweet. Let me get out of my. I just be, man. I'm not gonna lie. It'd be kind of weird to work this on the laptop because I'm so used to working it on my phone. But I want to see what he said. Let me see, because I want to quote my man right. And this is what happens when, I'm glad I'm not showing you all of this, because man, when you're bored at work, sometimes you get on Twitter and all of this, man. So he said, let's hope that, this is what he said. Matter of fact, let me just share my screen real quick. Let me just add this to the share. So he says, let's hope that this is comics influence in movies and not the other way around. I said, me too. DC has a rich history of storytelling. No need to reinvent the wheel. And that's the biggest thing. You don't have to reinvent the wheel when it comes to DC in its rich history of storytelling. There's so much rich history of storytelling that you could be able to pull from literally anything and be able to make a banger of a movie and be able to show kind of like how we feel on the Marvel side when you do like an Infinity War. Yes, it's a little bit different. Yes, they kind of wasted, didn't bring in Adam Warlock, you know what I mean? So he can have the Infinity Gauntlet or whatever. And I know it's not going to be, beat by beat like that, but it would be very, I would love for them to adapt certain comic book stories into the DC studios, like The Long Halloween, which was done on the animation side. A lot of this stuff has already been done on the animation side. So if you haven't seen it in live action, go watch the animation. It's amazing. You know what I mean? So, or The Death of Return to Superman. You know, those type of stories. So, or Man of Tomorrow. There's so many rich stories that you could be able to pull from. So, anyway, this is your band Dre Mac, man. I appreciate you guys hanging with me today, checking out this live stream with me. Again, what do you guys think about what Zachary Levi said? Do you think he's right? Do you think he's wrong? There's people in DC, the DC fans need to chill out. I know they're itching for good content and stuff like that, and I feel them. So what do you guys think? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell notification so you never miss one of my videos. Until next time, I'll holler at you guys later. Peace and vibe higher. Let's get up out of here.